I went to Dogus again with Melffys now that I have almost all of the cards. I even think all of the cards I want to have for the deck, at least now. And I wanted to show what I played because it went so much better than the last time I went. The new cards I added made such a large difference. First off, for the Melffy cards, free Wardy, it's the best, and free Puppy and free Catty because drawing much of them is very nice. You always want to get to a Wardy, and if you have a Puppy and Catty extra, it's just so nice because you can use them to chain block or maybe get earlier to a Penny or a Cadentosa. It's really nice to draw these. Then just to have more names, or maybe for the grind game or situations where they come up, it's Fanny and Pony. I often use them if I have Wardy and Puppy and or Catty in hand, just so I have more names to summon off of Wardy and then use their effects. And then 2 Penny. Yeah. Those are the Melffy monsters, and for the Melffy spells I cut down a bit. Still 3 Melffy staring contest for the added consistency. 1 hide and seek for the grind game. And the protection effect is also really nice, but I think the even better effect is just the shuffle 3 back and draw 1, just so you can keep your engine going and going, because if the stack gets to a grind game and you can just resolve Wardy turn after turn after turn, it's the situation you want to get in. 1 Melffy tag, this is mostly to be searched off of Melffy of the forest to go maybe into some rank 2 plays on further turns or synchro plays, and those are all the Melffy cuts I play. I cut the trap because I didn't really think it came up that often, and I never really wanted to search it off of Melffy of the forest, so this is where I am now. Then for my beasts, 2 Cadentosa. I think you could cut this down to 1, maybe even going second, side 1 out, but I really like 2 just to increase the probability that I have a target for the Puppy in the deck. 1 Hop Ear Squadron, also a nice search off of Catty, it can protect your place and stuff, and just be a nice additional synchro summon on your opponent's turn. And 1 Fabled Zapruder. He isn't used for his effect here, he is used to make Fabled Unicorn when you have Obedience Schooled. Maybe I will show that at the end of the video, because I think Obedience Schooled is a very nice opening for this deck, because it can do so much. Then, this is all the beasts. I decided to not play Alpha anymore because I didn't really think it did all that much for the deck. I said this in the last video because after playing it at 1, I think either you play it at 3 or none at all, and I decided to just cut them at all because I think they didn't do enough. And I really just wanted to focus on the game plan of going into the 1 card Wardy combo into Satellite Warrior and Baron, and then either finishing the game from that or controlling the game because your opponent is down so much resources. Then for the new cards and more consistency and turn 1 plays, or if you're going second, possibilities to break your opponent's board. 3 Rescue Cats and 3 Obedience Schooled. This I think is the best turn 1 opening of the stack. This with a normal summon allows you to do so much. If it doesn't get Ash, it's really nice. And then for my non-engine I played 12 hand traps because it's very good if you're going second to just keep stuff off of your opponent's board, or going first just to support your Melffys. I also think board breakers are not that great in this deck because your deck can't really support the board breakers, because even if you go second you won't do much on your turn. It's most likely maybe 1 Xyz like the raccoon to kill one of their monsters, and then probably still just special summon a Wardy and wait till if they summon or attack him next turn and then going into place. So I like the hand traps here quite much. Then 3 imperm. Those are because I went to Locus, I tried to use something which can hit most of the decks, and I think those two do this the best. Also really like Nibiru because it can just end opponents' turns and leave them on nothing, especially combined with other hand traps. And then I decided to play 3 Ghost Spell because most of the decks nowadays do something with the graveyard, so you get your use out of it, and it was really helpful. I thought those were the 4 best hand traps for Locus to play. Then, for my extra deck, 1 Merry Melffy, 2 Melffy of the Forest, 1 Joyce and 1 Mummy. I think 1 Merry Melffy is enough because it can bounce itself back to the extra deck, and you could also recycle it with Hide and Seek. I have 2 Melffys of the Forest because sometimes I make one turn 1 to search a Wardy, and then later I will want to be able to search the Melffy Hide and Seek to also get my Melffy of the Forest back in the extra deck if I need it. So I think 2 of them is very nice. Joyce Melffy just for the direct attack, or if you already have a Xyz, you can tag out with Merry Melffy into a Joyce Melffy. Then the Melffy Mummy didn't come up again. I think this one is probably the first extra deck to get cut. If and when I decide what else to play, probably a Psyframe.Omega, because Melffy Mummy just doesn't do anything. On paper it can be useful just to stall out some turns, but most of your opponent's decks can get rid of it very easily, so I think it's not that great, and getting to its 5 material effect is just too much effort put into this one card. You could do so much else with the monsters. Then for the main combo of the deck, Desert Locust, Exile Stardust, where you Synchro summon this using Penny on your opponent's turn, then Synchro into this and use its effect, summon this and Synchro into one of those two. To really, I think there are 2 situations you want to get in. Either you do this to finish off your opponent so your opponent has nothing left and you can safely kill him the next turn, or you want to whittle down his resources so that you can control the game and outgrind them. Yeah, I try to save discards for those situations if possible. And to be honest, it worked pretty well, I think. I am very happy with the strategy. Then for some more toolbox cards, a number 64, just to kill big opponent's monsters, or also kill your opponent, because this also can copy the attack of your monsters. Sometimes you have a 5500 satellite warrior, then you summon this on your turn, get another 5500 body on your field, and can just kill your opponent, which is really nice. Also, if you make this attack with your big guy into their big monster, maybe you can also attack with him, and then you can make a Zeus, which is also a really nice card in this deck, just to get rid of fields. And if there are monsters that cannot be targeted or cannot be destroyed, that's also really helpful. Catchug in theory is very nice because it can boost the attack of, for example, Joyce. Is it Joyce Melffy? Yeah, Joyce Melffy to attack directly for 4000, but this doesn't come up so often, so I maybe will look for some replacements for this card. Maybe the rank 2 Sky Cavalry to go into an easier Zeus or something like that. Maybe just a down-up Magician to get more materials under the Zeus. But the Catchug itself didn't come up so often, and I don't think it is really necessary or the best thing to play in this slot. Then one Fabled Unicorn for turn 1 plays with either Rescue Cat or what's the name? Obedience School. This card is not here to negate necessarily many of your opponent's effects. It's just here to lie next to your Wardy, so they have to focus resources on this, and either you can annoy them with the negates here, or you get your Wardy through. That's kind of the theory why I play this. And lastly, 1 Herald of the Arclight, just a really nice thing to make with Penny, and 1 Melffy. Then for the side deck, 3 Vader, just another nice hand trap with many applications. I took a lot of time deciding if I wanted to play Ghost Bell or Vader, but I thought I already have effect negation on field with my imperms in the main deck, so I would rather have some diversity in my main deck. And if I have matchup where Vaders are good, I can just side them in. 3 Lava Golems, because the stack is shit at breaking boards. And you can also spin the Lava Golem back to your hand with your Merry Melffys. On another note of board breaking, Dino Wrestler Pankatops also helps very much with breaking boards. And because there's limited spell and trap removal in the stack, especially in the main deck, there is none other than Kalantosa to be fair, but I wanted to play Cosmic Cyclones in case I encounter any Floodgate decks. And then 4 cards for going first. 3 Strike and 1 Cold Bind, just to protect your body from hand traps. I'm currently not sure if I should play 3 Strike or 3 Anti-Spell, because Strike is very nice against Ghost Ogre, Ash Blossom, Vader, just to get your combos through, even through hand traps. But Anti-Spell could also be pretty nice, because it hinders decks like Sky Striker and Runic, which are very spell reliant, or just opponents that play a lot of board breakers, to disable your Melffys before they even have to summon something. So I really debating if I should play the strikes or the anti-spells. But the strikes came up today. I think I resolved them every time I drew them, so they are very nice. Also, they don't just have to be used to protect your body. You can also just negate a very important special summon of your opponent, and sometimes they just have to end their turn, and that's, I think, really nice. Yeah, that's the main deck. That's the deck. For my matchups, first game was against Voiceless Voice. First game was a really nice back and forth, only because in his first turn he started, and in his first turn at the end he went into the Link monster that then summons back the Ritual monster on my turn, so he can trigger low again, and I could bell his Link monster, and he had an empty field, so I could set up, but in the end he won because, and I want to say this here because I think it's very important, this deck is not a meta deck. It's barely at the rogue status, I think. It's just very fun to play, I think. It's very funny because many opponents just play into your deck because they don't know what it does. And also, if you go to the big combo, your opponents most often can't really do much after that, and it's really nice. Second game I won. Went first, set up my board. He used his Imperm to negate my Unicorn, and then I went through the full body combi, and he couldn't do anything, and I just killed him the next turn. Or over 2 turns, I'm not that sure. Next game, sadly, he went first, and I just couldn't play through his Voiceless Voice board, because I kind of bricked. I drew a Lava Golem, which was nice, which meant I could out his board, but I didn't draw any starters or engine to do anything after that. The next game was against Labyrinth, which I won 1-0, because I won the first game. I think even he went first, but couldn't set up much. And then my turn, I didn't do much in my turn, but he played into a normal summoned puppy, I think, because he used his trap to special summon. And yeah, it was a nice back and forth, but I could secure that game. Last game we just ran out of time. The first game took, I think, 35 minutes out of the 40-minute round, and the last game was just a draw because none of us had the opportunity to deal damage to the enemy. The next match was against Raid Raptors. First game, he won, even though I could stop him turn 1. I tried to do a bit on my turn, but then he just could combo through my board because he just drew the imperms and had a empty field, so he disabled my Melffys, and that was the game. Next game I started, I could really nicely stop him from getting anything on the board. I think I negated his Raiders Knight and cleared the board after that, and he couldn't do much else with his hand. I even striked one of the Ghost Augurs he wanted to use on Body, so that was very nice. Last game, even though I drew several hand traps, he could just play through it. I think I had like something like Imperm and Nibiru, and I impermed his Radar Snipe, but he still got to the Arsenal Falcon in under as his 5th summon, so I got out his yellow tower and I couldn't really contest that. Also, I'm not sure if the time ran out, but I lost that game. And the last game, 0-1 against Tiedemann, so I lost. I think it was Earthbound Tiedemann, I don't know where the synergy between those is, but the first game was very interesting. It was kind of back and forth, but it was just not possible to outgrind the Tiedemann after my opponent started midding. His first couple of things I could play around because he only drew the Earthbounds, but then after the Tiedemanns started showing up and winning more and more, it was just a game of nutrition. I couldn't win. And again, the first game took very long and we went into time, and the last game was a draw, so it's just a 0-1. And I'm very, very happy to report it's the first time I drew an actual ulti from a tournament pack. I got a Chaos Angel, which is I'm very happy. I will sell this just to have more money for decks, and also because I play in Germany, this is a German card, and I much prefer playing with English cards, so I think I'm gonna sell this one, and yeah, maybe get some new stables or a new decor from it. That's all.